how did you get your expressions so vibrant? What kind of resources or exercises did you use to show more exaggerated expressions? What I typically do is really focus on the characters and their faces and how they're shaped. A lot of these expressions that I do, I also try to push them to their limit and, try to get a little bit ugly in there with expressions. I'm using Flint here as an example, but I really try to push his eyes when it comes to expressions and how his mouth will react around here, especially around the eyeball, adding in flaps of skin underneath, really pushing that expression, not being afraid to push outside of his usual character design, which is very much neutral like this. I also try to push my expressions, especially in the eyes, making them smaller depending on what kind of emotion I'm going for. And another example, just to show on this piece again, is the mask method. So you'll see here that I drew a little green line around it, kind of like a mask. So try to think of it as a superhero mask. And the more exaggerated it is, the more emotion you'll get out of a character, especially when you're drawing them out. Also, take a look at how the eyebrow interacts with the eyes along with the nose. Put some scrunchy lines in here. Put in the eyelid. How would the eyelid interact with the eyebrow? A lot of things to consider when it comes to facial expressions. Have fun with your facial expressions and don't be afraid to experiment and push the limit of how your character can express themselves, especially in drawings.